is the war in Afghanistan justified by the 9/11 attacks? There are many questions to ask about the war in Afghanistan. One being widely asked is whether it will turn out to be Obama's Vietnam. This question implies another, whether this war is winnable or destined to be a quagmire like Vietnam. A question motivated in part by the widespread agreement that the Afghan government under Hamid Karzai is at least as corrupt and incompetent as the government of the United States tried to prop up in South Vietnam for 20 years. There are many other similarities, but there's also one big difference. This time, there is no draft. If there were a draft, so the college students and their friends back home were being sent to Afghanistan, there would be huge demonstrations all across this country on those campuses. If the sons and daughters of wealthy and middle-class parents were coming home in boxes or with permanent injuries or post-traumatic stress syndrome, which leads many of them to suicide, this would have been probably stopped long ago. People have often asked, did we learn any of the lessons of Vietnam? Well, our government learned one. If you're going to wage an unpopular war, don't have a draft. There are many, many questions, but in this lecture I will focus on only one. Is the war in Afghanistan justified? This question has two parts. First, is the war legally justified? Second, is it morally justified? As I deal with these two questions, try to imagine there is a draft so that you, or your spouse, or your friends, or your children or grandchildren might be sent to fight in this war. How many college students do we have here tonight? About 5. If we have draft, even with finals, we would have several hundreds. Since the founding of the United Nations in 1945, international law with regard to war has been defined by the UN Charter. Measured by this standard, the U.S.-led war in Afghanistan is illegal. Marjorie Cohn, a well-known professor of international law, wrote in November 2001, the bombing of Afghanistan by the United States and the United Kingdom are illegal. In 2008, Cohn repeated this argument in an article entitled Afghanistan, the Other Illegal War. The point of the title was that by then, most people agreed the war in Iraq was illegal. She was pointing out the one in Afghanistan is equally illegal. Her argument was based on the following facts. First, according to international law, as codified by the UN Charter, disputes are to be brought to the UN Security Council, which alone may authorize the use of force. Without this authorization, any military activity against another country is illegal. Second, there are two exceptions. One is that if your nation has been subjected to an armed attack by another nation, you may respond militarily in self-defense. This condition was not fulfilled by 9/11 because the attacks were not carried out by another nation. Afghanistan did not attack the United States. In fact, the 19 men charged with the attacks, none of them are from Afghanistan. The other exception occurs when one nation has certain knowledge that an armed attack by another nation is imminent, too imminent to bring the matter to the Security Council. The need for self-defense must be, in the generally accepted phrase, instant, overwhelming, leaving no choice of means, and no moment for deliberation. Although the U.S. government claimed that the need to prevent a second attack was urgent, this need, even if real, was clearly not urgent, as shown by the fact that the Pentagon did not launch its invasion until